I was promoted to business unit manager at a vinyl flooring plant. Now, this plant had been downsizing for many years as the business was shrinking. And this caused a challenging and difficult relationship between our union representation and the management of the plant. Everything we tried to do that we thought was in the best interests of our customers and our employees was met with resistance. We were always having to cut costs, jobs were at risk, including mine. Now, I felt the best course of action would be to try to develop a viable working relationship with our employees and, of course, the union representation. But there really was no trust. In fact, our section shop steward told me one day, "Adam, I couldn't trust the person before you. I'm not going to trust the person after you. So how can I trust you?" Well, that made things a bit more challenging. But as we were downsizing, we realized we had to create some pretty unconventional work schedules. And so I decided, in order to do this well and create a better alignment, I would try to work directly with our shop steward to make sure that the multiple scenarios were followed so that we covered people properly with overtime and didn't leave anybody wanting for it. So the traditional overtime rules were hard to follow in this situation. So I went back to my office and I created this matrix. I found more than a dozen scenarios and I tried to identify every single way that we would cover overtime that would be fair. And I showed it to the union shop steward and he helped me figure out how to do it right and admitted that this thing was so complicated that if we followed it, it would be right, but no one would know how to tell whether we'd done it right or wrong, and grievances would never hold up. Well, I told him that the point of this was to do it right and just make sure that we don't cheat anybody out of their overtime. So over time, he seemed to be able to tell that I was trying to do the right thing. And as time wore on, we collaborated more and more. Now, we had to do that kind of in secret because he had to save face in front of his union brethren. But back in the office, he did admit that, hey, you are trying to do the right thing. And I still don't really trust you, but I can tell you are trying to do what's best for our employees. Now, 5 days after I moved to a corporate position, I was cutting my lawn in the front yard. A neighbor came up to me and said, "Hey, Adam, you look different." And what I didn't realize was all this hard work was putting a huge burden on me, and I didn't realize what stress I was under, but it definitely was visible to the rest of the world. I hope you enjoyed this story, gained some insight, and learned something you can use. You'll find many more Kaizen stories on my website, www.pi-partners.com. If you'd like help growing your profits through sustained process improvement, scan the QR code on the screen for a free consultation, and let's start our journey together.